All right, rugby fans from around the world, welcome to the Grand Canyon University campus. Today's match brings you the Western Washington University Vikings against Grand Canyon University Lopes. It's a beautiful 70-degree day here in the Valley of the Sun. In the booth with me is Ryan Kelly. Ryan was the first GCU coach 10 years ago, started the program here at Grand Canyon. Last time these two met, Ryan, you were the coach. Tell us about that game, and what do you see? What can you expect from today's match?
Indeed, it was a great game. New program. We were still playing back and forth between D1A and D1AA. We actually played in the conference in D1AA, went up for the D1AA playoffs in the national quarterfinals and beat Western Washington in just a shootout of a game. Ended on the 1 meter line. We stopped them, but a great game. So I think that's the only other time these two teams have actually met on the field. Expecting pretty good things. Western Washington is a smaller program in the grand scheme of things, not D1A, or at least, but they play like that, and they play as well, and I'm expecting that they're going to be a pretty stiff matchup for GCU today.
Yep. Western Washington kicks off to GCU. Fielding the ball is Luke Neely.
Puts the left foot
Tries
to
a
it.
little exit kick. Fielded well by Western Washington. Drifting to the far side of the pitch. GCU able to tackle. GCU collects on defense. Quick ball out. Somewhat sloppy to begin.
You know, Western Washington really benefits from the strong high school programs up in that area. And so they really have a wealth of high school-based programs up there that feed into that school.
Yeah, they're rugby crazy in the Northwest, especially with the Seattle Seawolf team.
Very popular.
Very popular. Probably one of the better attended MLR teams. Western Washington tries to work it wide. They're stuck in the middle of the pitch. They do get a little bit of break on the outside. GCU puts on a nice defense. They collect it to the ground.
Turnover here maybe. Yeah.
Yep, it'll be a penalty to GCU. Well, we're at this penalty. I'll run through GCU's lineup today. In the props, Charlie Marshall and Will Stramberg. At hooker, Brad Kissinger. Locks, Sean McElligott. Lachlan Jackson. Flankers, Austin York and Kenny Passion. At 8-man, Nigel Johnson. Moving to the backs, at scrum half, Vance Disney. At fly half, Jackson Gray. In the centers, Dylan Mercer and Luke Neely. On the wings, Aiden Castanon and Lewis Case. And at number 15, Ben Saunders. In reserve, Daddy Callahan, Dane Needham out of Yakima, Washington, a Washington product. Gene Kendall, Danny Sanchez, Liam Osborne, Marcus Terzoli, Matsumi Otaka, and DJ Wisnant.
Unfortunately, GCU picked up right up where they left off last week with a little bit of trouble in the line out and missed a really good halfway opportunity and just overthrew the line out completely. So quick ball to Western Washington, and the Vikings are moving a little bit forward here, so little bit of good go forward.
Looks like the ref is playing advantage to Washington. We'll see if they take advantage of it.
Go back for the
good
penalty,
defensive structure by GCU. Unfortunately, it will be a penalty. The referee is calling it back to the mark. It'll be an offsides. Offsides against GCU. We saw a few of those last week when GCU took on UCLA here in the soccer stadium.
Yeah, we did. You know, UCLA, a very good team. You can see the difference already. You know, UCLA had guys running full speed onto the ball and just in waves, and you know that's a great thing in college rugby when you don't see it very often, where you get a lot of pace coming onto the ball. Here, Western Washington, some pretty good hands, but at least what we've seen so far, not a lot of pace coming onto the ball.
Okay, so we got a Western Washington line out just inside GCU's 22. Knocking on the door, if you will. It's great attacking position.
Yeah, and you see here, GCU already, you know, they've had no possession of the ball whatsoever. Oh,
that's Aiden Castanon's
right when I said
Phoenix
that.
Product with the steal.
There.
Taken up by Sean McElligott. Or is that? Nope, that's Dylan Mercer. Quick ball to Brad Kissinger. Will be a penalty against Western Washington.
That's
great movement from behind the 22. That was Dylan Mercer, big-bodied center out of Colorado Springs.
That's that seatbelt tackle that they, you know, still trying to clean that up a little bit.
And
so.
a great take up the field from Brad Kissinger out of Salina, Texas. Comes from a great rugby family. His sisters play. Dad's his parents, Mark, and they're great supporters of the program.
Perhaps the only issue you might take with that play right at the end is maybe just curling it back in a little bit. He had no support on the outside. Those are the ones you want, just to bring it back into where you might have somebody coming through on the inside. So, but great sequence for GCU right off the bat.
And back to that GCU line out that was won by, or actually it's Western Washington, stolen by GCU. Aiden Castanon, you'll see he'll move from the wing into the line out. There's Aiden again.
Trouble with that line out again.
Western Washington steals GCU's line out just inside their 22. Expect an exit kick.
Ooh, but very close.
Dead center in the field. Luke Neely on the take. Quickly to Ben Saunders. He has some space to run.
Got numbers.
Aiden Castanon out to Lewis Case. Lewis has some wheels. Almost turns the corner.
Boy, that's a tough call.
I think they're going to get that for not releasing the ball.
Yeah.
That was a tough call.
It's kind of that rollover play when you roll right over the player and just keep running. But apparently the referee wasn't happy with it. So good break for Western Washington.
Washington 2-touch. It should be right around the midfield for a Western Washington line out, Ryan.
Yeah, pretty unfortunate. Like I said, that's we'll keep count here. Two GCU lineouts, both of them losses, but they did pick off one of the Vikings. So, that's better than the start against UCLA because at least they did steal one.
Yeah, as you mentioned earlier, Western Washington is D1 AA. However, I think they're going to move to D1A next year, or they're hoping to. Very competitive. D1A is stock full of talent as well with Western Washington, the University of San Diego-like programs that play right and compete very well against the D1A squads. Little grubber punch through. Should pop right up to Luke Neely's hands. He scours the field. He takes it outside. Nice clear and clamp by the GCU backs.
Might have an advantage here potentially. I saw the arm come out, but
into Nigel Johnson, a Gilbert, Arizona product. Played a little rugby in San Diego as well. To the backs. And now to the forwards to Big Will Stramberg, prop, set outside.
Yeah, we're going to come back. Yeah.
It's coming back. It'll be a penalty to GCU against Western Washington, right about 35 meters out from the try line.
Saw the arm pop out just for a second, but I wasn't sure if that's what it was. So she does come back to where I think it was an offsides on the Vikings.
Okay, so Ben Saunders with the kick to touch. And that'll be a line out to GCU just inside Western Washington's 22.
We were talking about this a little bit last week. For the last few years in rugby, you've seen quite a bit of teams taking points whenever they could take them after a long period of kicking for touch, and now we seem to be trending back towards the kicking for touch rather than taking the post kick.
Great line out. Charlie Marshall on the throw-in to Lachlan Jackson. Brad Kissinger, little tips pass to Nigel Johnson. See if GCU can do something with this possession. Into Dylan Mercer. He does have Western Washington on their back foot.
Looked like maybe offsides again there, but
yeah, I believe they were offsides from my vantage point.
Yeah.
However, the ref does call a penalty against GCU. Did you see what that was, Ryan?
Yeah, that coming in for the side, the wing was trying to support and just didn't, was already past the play and just tried to join in the ruck from the side. Just a little unfortunate.
Okay, folks, I'll read off to you Western Washington's roster for the day. At props, George Jelly and Reed Burmaster. Hooker, Gus Sorensen. In the locks, Fergus Moore, Lyndon Bailey. Flanking, Kalen Lee and Carson Lowe. At 8-man, Ben Pierce. At 9, Brett Ebert. 10, Gabe Galvez. In the centers, George Pritchard and Oliver Kelleher. On the wing, Sam Schuver and Eli Ashman. At fullback, Liam Herring. And in reserves, Trevor Martin, Charlie Hepp, Kalama Tamashiro, Luke Burbank, Peter Norse, Tavoy Filiva, Saul Hickner, and Ned O'Brien.
They're testing your pronunciations here. Well, unfortunate for Western Washington right there, the ball just popped off one player, just went forward to another player who caught it. So we'll get the first scrum to GCU of the day here. Let's see what kind of stability we can see. It was a mixed bag last week for GCU against UCLA.
Got some dynamic runners. It's split backs with Ben Saunders stacked behind Jackson Gray. We have both of the centers, Dylan Mercer and Luke Neely, on each respective sides along with their wings. Does seem to be an overlap or numbers advantage to GCU on the left side. We'll see if they take advantage of it.
Yeah, it does look like they got a pretty good, hard to defend out this way with this many players if GCU sees it. I don't know what they have on, but kind of a strange
Vance
split.
Disney, true freshman, with the put in. GCU scrum. They go right. Strong 8-man carry, Nigel Johnson. Again, they go right. I believe the ref is calling not releasing the tackled player. However, is having a chat with the Western Washington captain. The coaches today for Grand Canyon, Coach Sean O'Leary in his 6th year with the program. Yours truly, Brent Weber, in the booth. For Western Washington, head coach Adam Roberts, with supporting cast of Alan Law, Trip Murato, Colin Campbell, joined by their director of rugby, Paul Horn.
So kind of interesting right there. GCU ran to the right off the scrum. I felt like if they would have just cleared the ball quickly and run back to the left, they would have had some space there. They had plenty of numbers.
Yeah, and it's a great attacking setup, the scrum center. Not a bad choice by the 8-man.
No, not at
Nigel
all.
Johnson to pick up, but
maybe a quick ball back to the left after that.
Distribution once you have the other team retreating, so that was lacking there. Okay, so GCU line out.
Here's that long
it's
throw
long
over.
to Dylan Mercer, big center, carries a few bodies in, and he is in for the try. Dylan Mercer, Colorado Springs product.
So that was basically the same play we saw last week. We saw last week with GCU. They were having trouble with the line out, so they threw it long over the top, and the center took it, and they went back to the well today for a try.
Well executed. Shout out to Dylan's dad. Gentry Mercer plays for the Golden Eagles. He's got to be proud of his son, Dylan, there. Dylan's coming back from a couple knee injuries coming into this year, and he's moving really well. Played sevens for us in the West Coast Sevens, was dominant, carrying a lot of bodies there, as he did there on the GCU try.
Really dragged a few people across the line right at the end there, so
yep.
Very strong run.
With a conversion, I believe that's Ben Saunders, fullback, number 15. Ben's out of Full Shear, Texas.
It's like just to
Shout
the left.
Shout out to Ben's parents, Nigel Saunders and Knox Saunders. So graciously, they have donated some money and specifically to pay for these live streams. So all rugby fans around the world, let's quick toast to Nigel and Knock.
Yeah, the conversion just drifted to the left wide just a little bit. Well struck. But in any case, we land at 5-0 here.
Yep, 13 minutes into the half. 5-0 GCU. Taken by Luke Neely. He does see space. Finds Jackson Gray. Fly half on a break. Out to Aiden Cassanon. It's dumped forward. Knock on GCU. Really well executed there up until the knock on.
Strange play. It actually looked like it when he lost control of that, went off his foot forward. But you have to see on the replay if we had it there. But the unfortunately, either way, it was called a knock on, and the Vikings will get the put in here. I'll tell you, GCU is finding some forward running space. They just can't quite get the last finish on a few of these.
Yep.
That bodes well. Usually as the game goes on, you seem to find those runners, those last runners. So maybe they can continue with the good forward running and find.
So Western Washington has a center and a fullback stacked very wide. Looks maybe like an early push.
Tough call.
On the GCU.
Tough call.
Usually that comes with a warning, but maybe the ref does give a penalty to Western Washington.
I'll tell you what, if I was GCU, that was a very strong scrum. I think I'd put the push on most of these today.
Yep.
Seems like they can definitely take advantage of that. Let's see what GCU can do here. Still having some issues in the line out. Nothing coming exactly cleanly for GCU yet, but this is the Vikings throw in. Well taken. Oh, nice line out.
Nice maul by Western Washington University. Picks up a good 15 meters.
Got a penalty coming here too.
Ref is playing advantage to Western Washington. It'll be another penalty to Western Washington.
Yeah, GCU needs to be careful with that pulling down. That'll result in a yellow card pretty quickly. I thought GCU actually did a pretty good job last week against UCLA in sacking the catcher of the line out quickly. This one, they allowed him to come down, and the maul resulted pretty cleanly. Really hard to stop that maul once it gets going.
I don't think that was intended to be a long throw in, but taken by GCU. Ben Saunders takes it up a few meters. Out to Brad Kissinger, to Nigel Johnson. A double tip pass to Dylan Mercer. However, that's knocked forward. Ref will play advantage to Western Washington. Nice tackle by number 8, Nigel Johnson. Western Washington testing the fringes of the ruck. Good defense. Ball spilled backwards. Oh, they are calling it a knock on. And a scrum to Western Washington, I believe, Ryan.
Yeah, she's coming all the way back to the original one. She was playing a very long advantage there, which is good. I like to see a long advantage like that. So
scrum center, Western Washington floods the left side of the scrum. No one to the right of the scrum. GCU does leave a defender on the right side of the scrum, Lewis Case. In the event, it's an 8-man pick.
See if we get the push by GCU here. Obviously, maybe a little bit early on that one, just not stable from the beginning. And it's Six Nations time, so some good rugby started last weekend and this weekend. Some great games. France dominant still.
Yes.
Got to like what they're doing as a country for sure.
Always a fun team to watch. Plays with a lot of flair, the French.
Let's see what we got here.
Scrum center.
Pretty good.
It looked like the scrum did wheel left, so it kind of forced them to go left. Ref will call a knock on. It'll be a scrum to GCU. Just outside their 22.
It was a pretty good scrum by the Vikings there. GCU put the push on, got a little bit, but held up pretty well in the hole.
Talking about sports, Ryan, we got the Waste Management Phoenix Open going on in the Valley of the Sun this weekend. Very busy sports weekend.
Also got the GCU softball team.
I believe they played Northern Illinois University.
Are they the Huskies?
I am not sure. All right, Vance Disney with the put in for GCU. Straight to Jackson Gray. Miss out to Luke Neely. Drives it ahead, looks like for the 50-22.
Oh.
And he gets it. He gets the 50-22. What a great kick by Luke Neely. You can't get any closer. That was not even 1 meter. It was 1 foot 12 inches inside that 22.
With the player.
Beautiful tactical kick by Luke Neely.
With the Western Washington defensive player right on it, too. I mean, he put it right where it needed to be, so.
We'll say that was a really nice 7-iron. 7-iron ahead for all you golf fans out there.
And it results in a GCU line out.
Okay, we'll see if GCU can be successful on their put-in. To the back. Lost again. You blame that probably on the throw. Throw is not straight. Taken by Western Washington. Regardless, the end result is a scrum to Western Washington.
Like GCU is going to have to break out the pool net training. Have you ever seen this? You know, for the throw-ins.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like
Yep.
a little
The
bit of
skimmer basket.
the skimmer basket training. Yeah. Yeah, having trouble, you know, with the throws and just kind of the coordination. It looks like in some of these lineouts.
Okay, we're almost 20 minutes into the match. 5 points GCU. Unconverted try by Dylan Mercer to 0 to Western Washington.
Yeah, GCU's had most of the attacking so far, so we'll see if that holds out. Good pickup by Western Washington's 8-man.
Yep. Wheel to left. Western Washington picks up about 10 meters. Ruck's right in the middle of the field.
I have a feeling that's
Probably
held ball.
not releasing the ball on the tackle. It will be a penalty to GCU. Directly in front of the post, call it 35 meters. GCU discusses.
Looks like they're going to touch again.
They are going to touch. Ben Saunders with the kick.
Had a little powwow there, and
Beauty. It should be a line out just outside the 5-meter line. Call it 10 meters out from the Western Washington try line.
pretty decisive, met up and said, no, kick that to touch, not to post. So we'll see if that's a good decision here. Once again, the line-out problem is the issue with those type of touch kicks. But
we've seen 3 long line out throws so far. We'll see if GCU maybe brings this to the front of the line out. And they do. To Lachlan Jackson, cleanly taken. Western Washington player quickly through the line out on defense, takes down Vance Disney. Looks like Lachlan Jackson pick and go off the loose ball.
might have a penalty here, no?
Western Washington player trying to drag his own player out of the ruck. Little miscommunication there by GCU. Nonetheless, they retained possession. Ball did go backwards. Keeping it inside. Pick up a meter or two. Out to Luke Neely, crashing Dylan Mercer. That was Luke Neely, outside center, and inside center, Dylan Mercer. Out to Nigel Johnson. To Ben Saunders. Can he make it through to the try line, Ryan? He does. Try to Ben Saunders.
Wouldn't be denied there. That was some power running.
That was nice ball movement. A lot of nice tips passes in there.
So ironically, the kick to touch works even without the line out clean. So.
Yep.
So it looks like Ben Saunders take the conversion kick here again.
Yeah, this should be a fairly routine kick for Ben. We will see. We'll call it a 60-degree wedge, staying on the golf theme. See if he can get it up and over. And it's up, and it's through. So about 23 minutes into the first half, it is GCU Lopes 12, Western Washington Vikings 0. 2 tries for the Grand Canyon Lopes, the last one by Ben Saunders, the previous one by Dylan Mercer. And Ben Saunders is 1 for 2 on conversions, therefore your 12 points.
Last couple kickoffs we've seen kind of center of the field, kind of mid-deep, kind of in no man's land there. So we can see maybe a little bit shorter here. Nope, about in the same space.
Kickoff goes deep, fielded by Ben Saunders. He's unable to collect it. Knock forward.
Very unfortunate there for GCU.
It'll be a scrum to Western Washington at GCU's 22.
That was one of those kickoffs where it actually looked like a spiral coming off the foot, and so it was a little unusual for a kickoff.
Yep. Shout out to the Grand Canyon Lopes women's rugby program today.
Big win.
Hard-fought match against U of A and a big win, 80-plus points to 0 for your Grand Canyon Lopes rugby team.
Against the University of Arizona women.
Yep. And they're going to call offsides, I believe, on either Nigel Johnson or I think it was on Nigel Johnson.
If we get a touch kick here, it'll be curious to see.
Potentially on Austin York.
If we get a touch kick here, it'll be curious to see whether they try that the line-out maul once again. It was very effective the first time they were down in this area. Yep.
Kick 2 touch, very effective.
Maybe 6,
right about
5,
8 meters out from the GCU try line.
I think your meters are off.
Are my meters off?
No, maybe 7. Let's go 7.
7.5. We'll split the difference. Very effective line out. Western Washington with a win.
Oh, he dropped
Dumps
the ball.
it forward. I believe. Yep, it'll be a scrum. Ref is playing advantage. GCU pinned back there. They're trying to work it out. Give their kicker some relief. Lachlan Jackson does shake a few.
Offloads
Picks up
it.
some meters. Offload to, I think, Nigel Johnson. Out to Dylan Mercer. To Ben Saunders. The referee called a penalty. However, GCU had a movement outside, and Ben Saunders did find a gap there. Unfortunately, referee's whistle stops that.
Very strange because it looked like there was at least an advantage on. I'm not sure I saw it.
It looked like there was a 3v2 on the outside there. Ref was not aware, blew it up. Regardless, it'll be a kick to touch for GCU. They'll be able to recollect with a line out wherever this breaks the plane of the touch line.
I suppose it's possible there was some GCU infraction which would offset that, but it certainly looked like the pass was not forward. So
the AR and the head ref and the AR discussing something on the pitch. The AR is Ben Cohen, oversees a lot of the refereeing here in the Valley and in the Southwest Rugby.
I think he called the game last week against
UCLA.
UCLA. Too, yeah.
No players are being called, so it may be a teaching moment.
Quite a long discussion here.
Yep. GCU captain Jackson Gray, grad student. Now the referee brings in the two captains to discuss.
I think it's just going to result in a penalty to GCU here, but scrum.
Little handshake, some camaraderie there. And it's a penalty two against GCU to Western Washington. So we did have a penalty break, all resulting in a Western Washington penalty.
I think they're going to take a shot at posts here. Kind of a very strange kind of sequence on that. It looked like maybe there was some extracurricular activities going on after one of the tackles that perhaps we didn't see. So it looks like.
Okay, so I think this is. I'm not sure the numbering on the jerseys. I think this is George Pritchard, who is the inside center out of British Columbia, Canada, kicking to posts.
He missed it to the left.
It is missed to the left.
Very well struck. It looks like he has a good foot. Just little misaimed. That's a bit unfortunate for the Vikings.
Yeah, we did review a couple prior matches for Western Washington, and George Pritchard does have a nice boot on him and usually pretty consistent. 22-meter dropout. Ben Saunders, nice high ball. Directly to the Western Washington wing. Kenny Passion on the tackle. However, the winger for Western Washington was able to get the ball away.
Some good go forward here.
Yep.
Got a few numbers out on the outside. Yep.
Looks like Lewis Case went for the cherry pick there. Unsuccessful, leaving a 2-on-1 on the outside. GCU able to collect. On defense, however, Western Washington maintains possession. They win the ruck. Clean ball to the backs. A looping player.
Oh, he came in
Another
behind
player
him.
finds a gap. Takes a step inside. Western Washington try at the 11-minute mark of the 11 minutes remaining in the first half. Western Washington.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of this against UCLA last week, where you had a shooter coming up on the defensive side for GCU, and they run in behind that player, and that's exactly what had occurred here.
Okay, I believe this is George Pritchard for the conversion. Likely slot this. He does. 12-7 Western Washington. So, yeah, Ryan, going for those cherry picks, you better be 100% sure you can get a hand on the ball and retrieve it. Otherwise, it does open up, creates overlaps on the outside, creates running space for the offense or the attack. Would much rather see Lewis Case exercise some patience there and maybe a little ice defense and or put a body on somebody.
Yeah, you got to have that defensive structure joinder with each player, and you get a little bit disjointed there, and it leaves that little bit of gap, and the good teams exploit that.
Yes. Okay, so Luke Neely with the restart drop kick. Luke
Beautifully
Neely out
struck.
of Colorado Springs.
Beautifully struck. Yeah, that was a great kickoff. Left it plenty high, and GCU right on it, took it.
To Lachlan Jackson, 2 tip passes. The Piles move forward. GCU continues to hit the forward pods successfully. A few tip passes. Cleaned up by Dylan Mercer. He goes down with it. Good decision. Little ruck recycle by Grand Canyon. Back in an 8-man Nigel Johnson.
Turnover by GCU.
Stolen by Western Washington. Ball on midline. There are numbers outside.
Oh. Okay, forward there, wasn't it? Yeah.
I believe the player jumped in the air during the tackle.
The player jumped in the air and then tried to make a pass, and it came forward off the hand. So,
okay.
I thought we might see a dump tackle there, but very smart by the GC. I couldn't see who it was.
Just to leave the player up and look like attempt to carry the Western Washington player out of bounds. So it'll be a scrum to GCU. We do have I think we're just tying a shoe. Looks like Nigel Johnson. The footing apparatus is put back together, and Nigel joins the back of the scrum as the 8-man with Vance Disney.
Couldn't see who the Viking ball carrier was, but they were kind of taking a ride backwards and decided to try and do a little offload, and the ball just came forward off the hands.
Okay, so we have Western Washington. Looks like they're subbing in a player. Subbing in, subbing out.
On the whole, GCU very fortunate right there. They had numbers on the outside. It looked like they were going to put that away and potentially go into the half with the lead. So good fortune by GCU to cover and defensively make it happen. So,
okay, so 12-7 in favor of GCU with 8 minutes left in the first half.
It's kind of odd first half. GCU doing virtually all the attacking for most of the first half, and then just in the last 5 minutes, we've seen 2 or 3 good sequences by Western Washington. Maybe kind of getting their sea legs after a long trip down. I remember when we went up to Western Washington for the game that we were talking about. You've got a long flight to Seattle. Bellingham is quite a drive even from there up the coast. Absolutely stunning, beautiful drive. I think we got distracted by that, but it took us, a good 20 minutes into that match to kind of get going too. So,
okay, so Vance Disney with the put in. Vance, a true freshman. out of Coweta, Oklahoma. Played a lot of rugby in the Oklahoma, Wichita area. Collapsing the scrum, Ryan. It'll be a penalty to GCU.
It's kind of a strange scrum.
A little shenanigans going on. The referee manages that well.
GCU did not get the hook cleanly, and it just kind of sat in the middle there.
Referee confers with the AR.
Looks like some unhappiness by the tight head prop there. By the Vikings, I'm not sure. I think on the call.
Luke Neely with a kick to touch.
What a great kick again.
It'll be a line out to GCU just inside Western Washington's, just inside the midline.
We were talking earlier in the trip that we made, 8 years ago up to Western Washington. We had Brendan Curl as a fly half, and he was a great tactical kicker. So a little bit of a legacy of that.
GCU attempts a tip pass, a little too much mustard on that pass. Bounces off the GCU player. It'll be a knock-on. Playing advantage to Western Washington. Attempts a little chip ahead. Ref plays on. I believe it's GCU ball. Penalty to GCU. I think we had an offsides Western Washington player who just flopped on the ball, came in from the side.
It's kind of a strange decision. I couldn't see who the wing was.
Okay, she's bringing the clock off. Clock is off, brings the captains in.
It's kind of a strange.
I'm going to say she's disciplining Western Washington, but after the last series of event, I don't know what the call may be. Still discussing.
It's hard to tell. Maybe there's some chippiness going on that we can't see, but it doesn't look like there's a lot of extracurricular activities going on. So, but both
so once
teams,
again, ball in Luke Neely's hand for maybe a kick to touch to improve the field position for the Grand Canyon Lopes lineout.
Yeah, it looks like the penalty sticks here. I was wondering, it looked like maybe she was going to call scrum, but GCU fortunate gets the penalty here. Can potentially punch this down pretty far, maybe down to the 22 range.
A lot of clock is ticked off during these stoppages and conversations. Just under 6 minutes left in the first half.
On our clock.
Yes.
It's kind of hard in the collegiate setting because it's hard to, you don't really get the
Charlie
clock
Marshall out of with a throw in again, stolen by Western Washington. GCU struggling with the lineouts again today. Little backdoor pass to the center. I think that's George Pritchard. I apologize if it's not.
Over the top there.
Looked like leaving the feet in the ruck. It'll be a penalty to Western Washington.
Boy, the lineout's really tough because they're getting the good touch kicks on the penalty and just literally can't win the lineout. I would venture to say today, oddly, I don't think I've seen this, GCU has a better win percentage on the Vikings lineouts than on their own.
I think you are correct. Another frustrating week for the GCU Lopes on their lineouts.
Nice lineout by the Western Washington there.
GCU comes up on D. It looks like Austin York double tackle with Nigel Johnson. Ball is on the floor. The counter ruck by GCU. Ball is on Western Washington side. Out to their backs.
Washington was
crashing runner. Tackle by Kenny Passion, another Colorado Springs product.
Western Washington was fortunate to retain possession on that because GCU really rucked over that pretty well.
Not releasing, and there'll be a penalty to GCU.
Boy, these lineout losses makes you wonder on some of these penalties whether might not.
Ball attempts to go to touch, does stay in.
Perfectly saved.
Fancy footwork to stay in there. It was right on the touch line. Will Stramberg prop takes it up. Good tackle by Western Washington back on the big prop.
Very strong tackle. That's a tough one when you see a big man running at you at full speed like that. He did well. Perfect rugby tackle, just took him down.
Okay, 3 minutes left in the first half. We'll have a line out to Western Washington just outside GCU's 22-meter line.
Just missed the touch kick, and that's what happens, you know. A little bit of disarray. Well collected by Western Washington again. Oh. Uh-oh.
Jackson
Trouble
Gray with
here.
the interception. Goes to ground. Little pop to Lewis Case. Luke Neely with a sidestep.
Two of
Still
them.
going forward. To Ben Saunders. 2 men to beat. Tries a pop pass, and it was going to be a knock on, I believe, to GCU.
Oh, they cleared
Ball
it.
is put up. Looks like Brad Kissinger underneath it. Mishandled by Brad. It'll be a scrum to Western Washington in the middle of the field. Tough luck by GCU, man. They had plenty of opportunities there. A lot of good offloads, a lot of good pops. Good retreat and good defense by Western Washington.
It looks like the hooker catching the ball is going to be made fun of once again, coming back there. But
just unfortunate that it even came to that.
yeah, for sure. They had the opportunity there.
There was good support. I gotta hand it to Western Washington. They did retreat. They had 2 players bring Ben Saunders down, and others in retreat to disrupt the offload.
That's a hard choice there. It's almost like you just want to see him hold it for a second, set up a quick ruck, and actually run off that one right at the end probably.
So scrum center to Western Washington again, flooding left, no men to the right. However, they attempted right last time, except for the scrum wheeled. Now we've got scrum half Vance Disney on.
Oh boy.
Number 11's
breaks a few
got some
tackles.
fancy footwork.
Offload.
Another offload. And Western Washington dots it down with right at the 1 minute mark in the first half. That started from wing Sam Schuver. I'm not sure who dotted it down on the far side for Western Washington. Sam Schuver out of Portland, Oregon, the wing. Some fancy footwork through the GCU defense.
Unfortunate. Just a few missed tackles by GCU out on on their left side of the scrum, and unfortunate because as soon as the tackles were missed, broke back to the inside and connected back up with runners.
GCU athletic trainer Kiana Peck is tending to Luke Neely. Hopefully it's just a cramp. Western Washington, George Pritchard on the conversion from the far side. Tough angle.
Got the low trajectory set up with the ball.
Ball is up. Got nice height. No good. Looked like it was wide right.
Leaves us knotted up at half. I think she did. Was that the halftime whistle? I think it was.
I cannot tell. So there's 1 minute left on the scoreboard clock. There were some stoppages throughout the
Yeah, that is the half
play, and that is the half, folks. So we are going to go to break, and we'll join you for the second half from Grand Canyon Stadium. It is 12 to Western Washington and 12 to GCU. We're knotted up at 12. All right, rugby fans, welcome back to the campus of Grand Canyon University for the Grand Canyon University Lopes rugby team, men's rugby team versus Western Washington University Vikings. Pretty competitive match here. We're knotted up at 12-12. Entering the second half.
First 30 minutes, it looked like GCU might run away with it. The last 10 minutes, though, pretty much all Vikings. Scored on both of the good opportunities they had and actually missed one other. So,
yeah. At the end of the first half, GCU did have an injury. I believe it was to Luke Neely, Colorado Springs product, who was in the outside centers. We'll see what adjustments GCU makes. I do see Marcus Terzoli coming onto the pitch, and we'll see how there's several combinations the Bash can utilize with Luke leaving the match.
Yeah, we'll see what adjustments the teams make. I think if I was GCU, we were talking a little bit about this at the break. You might think of some other things, where it's generally pretty usual. You kick to touch. They might not kick to touch, perhaps, as a strategy here. Also, GCU has not utilized at all the chip through, which they used to great effect last week against UCLA.
Yeah, Western Washington's line speed's pretty quick coming up. Sometimes it's leaving that center field open behind the defensive line.
It's kind of an ugly catch, but it worked.
Oh. Straight back. It is deflected by number 5, Lachlan Jackson, bouncing around. Unfortunate. Looks like Ben Saunders and Jackson Gray were converging on the ball at the same times. It'll be GCU knocked it on. Ref is playing advantage. Now it will be, once again, an offload. She'll probably call advantage off. However, nope, she may bring it back to the... So that'll be an intentional knock. So I think she had the long arm for a high tackle.
She did back.
Allowed it to play.
Got the advantage, and then...
Advantage up, and it'll be an intentional knock on GCU. So Western Washington from fielding a kickoff. Couple penalties, and they're now will have a line out about 15 meters out from GCU's try line.
I think your estimates are pretty good there. Yeah, that was not a great sequence with GCU. There was some confusion because on the way back when this started, you had a tipped or block on the kick, which put everybody on side, and so a lot of Western Washington players immediate on the chase, and I think that caused some confusion for GCU on the catch.
Yeah, usually the center fielder, if you will, has rights to that ball. I believe Ben Saunders was trying to call everyone else off. However, a couple players in front of Ben converged and caused a knock-on. So Western Washington, I do not see the ball comes out. Nice tackle, double tackle by Lewis Case and Marcus Terzoli on the Western Washington player. Good line speed by GCU defense.
Numbers. Oh.
Western Washington maintains possession. They work it towards us in the press box. It'll be a penalty to Western Washington against GCU. I believe a GCU player left the ground going into the ruck. Might have been number 2 hooker Brad Kissinger. Western Washington is going to post to take the lead if successful. For those just joining us or joining us late into the second half, it is currently 12-12. We're about 3 minutes into the second half with Western Washington with a penalty kick to post here to potentially take a 15-12 lead. Ball is up. And it's good. Western Washington takes a 15-12 3-point lead against Grand Canyon.
Yeah, GCU.
4 minutes into the second half.
Just kind of some bad body language, I think, right now on the GCU side. I think they just got to leave that in the past and move on here.
Yep, need to recollect.
So we've had some good kickoffs by Ben. We'll see if we get one here. Beautiful kickoff.
Beautiful high kick. Gone up by Aiden Cassidon. Beautiful. Tap down to 8-man Nigel Johnson. Picks up a few meters. Quick ball. Vance Disney to Charlie Marshall. To Will Strandberg.
Boy, a lot of guys offside.
Jackson Gray. Looked like Western Washington was offsides on the back. Little tip pass from Dylan Mercer to Kenny Passion, Colorado Springs product.
Didn't get it down. I did.
He didn't.
Oh, no, he didn't get it down.
It looks like a high tackle against.
Not sure if they.
Looks like a high tackle by Western Washington. It'll be a penalty to GCU, and we have a GCU player.
Maybe a shoulder.
Down. I cannot see the number.
Well, it was hard to tell from here if he actually got the ball down, any kind of downward pressure. It was a quick rollover, so it was hard to see. And I think that's what she's consulting with the
AR
touch judge about, yeah.
If it's not a try, it will be a penalty at the 5-meter line to GCU. If it is a high tackle and it caused.
Who was the injured player?
Obstructed by. I'm trying to find out who this is. It may be center Dylan Mercer, number 12. I do see a knee brace.
Maybe a shoulder.
So, yeah, it is Dylan Mercer. He comes off. So, DG Wisenant comes in for GCU.
Get the penalty try, I think, here.
Penalty try awarded. The high tackle did obstruct the try. Try awarded. Kick is automatically good. So this should take it to 19 points to GCU, 15 to Western Washington.
Did you see who came in replacement? I did not.
Yeah, DJ Wisnant came in. Looks like he's lining up at fullback. I suspect we'll see Ben Saunders maybe go into fly half.
So GCU regains the lead here, 19-15.
Well, we'll see on this. We'll see on the first set piece how Sean O'Leary is setting up the backs for the second half.
Another nice kickoff. Wow.
The timing on the lift and the jump by GCU was off.
I think they may have. No.
And it's a turnover ball. Yeah. Western Washington moves the ball right. Tackle by Kenny Passion. And I believe George Pritchard.
Roll away. Boy, that's a tough call right there. Made the tackle and looked like he just got up and moved. And
George Pritchard kicked a touch.
Pretty good touch kick there.
Yep. We'll call it 10 meters out from GCU's try line with a Western Washington line out.
Yeah, that was kind of an odd call. I'm not sure I agree with that one, but I've been wrong many times. It's good to know your self-awareness.
Okay, so the back line for GCU is made up of Vance Disney remains at 9. Jackson Gray remains in the lineup. Let's put it this way. We lost Dylan Mercer and Luke Neely with Marcus Terzoli and DJ Wisnant coming into the back line.
Nice line out sequence.
Nice line out by Western Washington. Little backdoor to George Pritchard.
Got numbers on the outside.
Little number on the outside there. Missed tackle by Aiden Castanon. He recovers, but it will be a try to Western Washington on the outside. Again, indecision on the wings for GCU on defense.
Can't see
allows for a little go forward and another try.
Can't see the number of the try score. I think it's the wing for Western Washington, who's had a great day. Is that number 11?
I believe it's number 11.
So that would be Sam Schuver.
Sam Schuver.
Really good hard running. We also get some really good hard running by a motorcycle, but some really good hard running by Sam Schuver there, and literally defended fairly well, but that's the second time today he's shaken off a few tacklers and created his own space. So
apologize for any disruptive noise here, folks. Our press box today is the parking garage above the Halo soccer field.
It's a pretty good spot to call the game. You get a lot of you get a pretty good view of everything, but the downside is you get a little bit of noise factor.
Okay, so Sam Pritchard for the conversion. Tough angle on the far side. Ball is up, nice height, and it's good.
Well struck. So Western Washington back out in the lead here.
Yep, that brings a 22-19 in favor of Western Washington.
Yeah, I think GCU on the wings certainly need to focus a little bit more on just taking the player to the ground.
Yep. Keeping body on body,
yeah.
Forcing the attack to make a decision.
Another good
not
kickoff.
having it made for them.
Well
Again,
taken.
Nice steal by Aiden Castanon. Tip back to GCU in support. To Charlie Marshall on a nice tips pass by Will Strandberg.
Good pace coming onto that. Yeah, good
GCU
pace.
on the retreat. Come back to this near side channel. That is Gene Kendall out of Katy, Texas, who came in as a substitution.
Good power running there. Oh,
again, same play.
Taken.
Will Strandberg to Charlie Marshall in for the try. Well done on that combo. 2 plays in a row.
Yeah, and you can see this is what we're talking about at the beginning of the game, which is taking that ball on pace like that instead of standing still. That really hard to defend, and you see it just 2 or 3 times in a row right there.
Couple subs in for GCU. Once again, I mentioned Gene Kendall out of Katy, Texas, number 18. I do see Danny Callahan, number 16, coming in.
I always think of Callahan brake pads every time I say that.
Callahan brake pads. Tommy boy.
Well struck on the conversion by Ben Saunders. So GCU back out in the lead, 26-22. That was a good response by GCU.
Very good response. Great plays by Will Strandberg and Charlie Marshall. Great combo.
The big men taking it on themselves there. That's
little
well
tips
done.
pass. Great lines run by Charlie Marshall.
You can just
Great
see
passing by Will Strandberg. Nice soft hands for a big man.
Big man coming on pace like that is nearly impossible to take down.
Yep.
Very high kick into the sun. Went backwards.
Yeah, went backwards. Long pass from Ben Saunders to Jackson Gray. Jackson Gray takes a gap, creates some space for Grand Canyon. Ball's dumped forward, but it's a penalty too. I think they're going to have not releasing the ball, I think, is the call. There are 2 Western Washington players down. One is getting up. The other one is down. The athletic trainers do tend to the player.
Jackson Gray power running, as he's done for a while here at GCU.
Yep.
And
he can shoot the gaps with the best of them. Clock is off as they tend to the Western Washington player. Ref is conferring with Jackson Gray, GCU captain.
Looked like he was unhappy about something at the tackle.
So we're about 12 minutes into the second half. 28 minutes remain. GCU is up 26-22 in a very back-and-forth match, Ryan.
So let's just say a little seesaw affair going on right now.
4-point difference, so we'll see if they go for points. They've opted 1 or 2 times, Ryan.
Yeah. I think in a close match like this, we might see them. Yeah, he's motioning for the post again.
He's going to post?
Yeah. Not a bad strategy. Like this is what we were talking about at the beginning of the game match. You know, like GCU has chosen several times not to take the post. Then as the game tightens up, we'll see if their strategy changes there too. Also. Looks like the GCU softball team getting ready to go over there.
So George Pritchard for the conversion out of White Rock, British Columbia. The only Canadian on the pitch. Off doinks it off the post. It's a live ball.
GCU spawns
Collected
right
by Charlie
away.
Marshall out to Kenny Passion up the sideline. Kenny throws a cherry pick. Western Washington ball.
I think
a very aggressive whistle by the referee.
So you had the
double chirp.
You had the first forward by GCU and then the subsequent forward by Western Washington. So I think you're coming back for a scrum.
It'll be a scrum to Western Washington. We'll call it at the GCU 22-meter line. In the backdrop, you can see Pistawa Peak, formerly known as Squaw Peak. And off to the right, you'll see Camelback Mountain, two great hikes in Phoenix, Arizona, if you're ever visiting.
Just bring water.
Great attacking position for Western Washington.
Boy, tough call on these scrums here. It's kind of hard to get a
upward push. I'm not sure what that call was, but maybe an early push.
Maybe a side. I don't know. It looked like GCU had control of that scrum. So.
And George Pritchard to touch. Proves territory for Western Washington. They'll get a line out.
Well, GCU
just outside the 5-meter line.
On that post kick that bounced off the post, it looked like GCU had an attacking motion there. Just threw one too many passes.
Very important for GCU to stay connected on defense here. Matching man for man.
I've been pretty impressed with Western Washington's lineouts. They don't have a lot of size, and they've gotten almost
Western Washington does have a forward in the back line. GCU takes it out. Danny Callahan to Gene Kendall.
Good hard
Picks
run.
up some precious meters. Gives some relief. Got to be offsides by Western Washington.
Boy, you almost want to tap and go right there.
It'll be Ben Saunders on a kick to touch for GCU penalty. Big boot by Ben, does find touch. GCU line out just inside the midline, still in Grand Canyon territory.
So right as I was saying, I was impressed with Western Washington's line out. They gave up one. So Murphy's Law there, but we'll see what happens here on GCU's line out. Nicely
clean
taken.
line out to Aiden Cassanon. I believe that was, I did not see who threw the ball in.
Numbers.
He's got Lewis Case. Lewis Case does have some wheels. Chips it to open space. Marcus Terzoli on the chase.
Very nicely played by Marcus.
Vance Disney scampers to the wide side. There is another penalty to GCU, not releasing. GCU attempts to tap and go. It's not through the mark.
I think that was the right idea.
We got a 26-22. Ben Saunders to touch. They're going to give a go at the line out. Can expect a line out here on a successful. I expect them all, Ryan.
GCU's got to win the line out.
GCU's got to win the line out.
The last one,
the opportunity to maul.
The last one was well taken, but that's really the first super clean front of the line out take we've seen today. I almost feel like that might be a tap and a setup for. Almost rather have a setup for a ruck or a maul there coming off the tap.
We'll see if they continue to stay to the front of that line out. They've been successful there. Another messy ball. I think GCU collected it.
No.
No, they lost it.
GCU is really going to have to consider the strategy of kicking to touch here. Oh.
The touch kick was blocked, so it'll be a knock-on against GCU. Should be a scrum to Western Washington, Ryan.
No, she called something
or
before that.
Are we telling not straight? No, it'll be a knock-on. It'll be a scrum to Western Washington off the kick deflection.
A lot of debate going on down there, it seems like, doesn't it?
There have been a few forward conferences held by hosted by the referee today. Okay, Western Washington scrum. We'll see if we get a big push by GCU. It's got to be timed right.
Unfortunately, they've wheeled a little bit to the left today on their push, and I think that's why they're getting called. This one, they got a pretty straight.
Nice push.
Yeah.
By GCU.
It's the penalty of GCU here.
Be a penalty to GCU. Nigel Johnson has the ball on the far side. Maybe held up, but it is. Looked like the ref was playing advantage to GCU.
I think we're going to get a scrum. Oh, no. Penalty? Penalty
Looks
on
like
the
a
scrum.
long arm penalty.
Yeah. I think she's coming all the way back to the scrum. Well, if I'm GCU,
GCU may opt for the scrum off the penalty. Regardless, it looks like it's going to be GCU scrum.
Or maybe just even a tap or a nice tap setup. Let's see what they go with.
It's scrumming.
We saw
UCLA last week on the touch going in. It was almost like the Philadelphia Eagles tush push, the way they set that up.
It was harkening back to our days of rugby, with the post player and.
Yep.
Nicely set up by
like
GCU.
A clean ball, GCU. Ball's working back to Vance Joseph, scrum half. Now we get the GCU push. Eight-man Nigel Johnson keeps the ball well underneath the feet. The push is on. Maybe an early pick. Nigel Johnson goes. He's stopped on the outside.
What a tackle. Couldn't see the number. Another penalty.
Penalty to GCU.
Oh,
I think that's Big Will Stramberg on the push. Might have been Lachlan Jackson. I cannot see from here. Sorry, folks.
I think we got another penalty coming here.
That's out to, I can't tell. I can't see the numbers from here. Jackson Gray with Kenny Passion on the crash. Kenny Passion's back up on his feet. GCU maintains possession. Knocking at the door. This is just patient, controlled ball here.
All by themselves there.
Out to the backs. Ben Saunders whips wide to Lewis Case. He's stepping.
Well, you got to appreciate the Vikings' defense here.
If they go back to this channel, they've got numbers if they go back this way. Oh, that's got to be offsides and a penalty try.
There's a lot of penalties going here.
Bringing it all the way back.
I
thought there might have been an opportunity for a penalty try there. It looked like they had numbers outside and an intentional knock. But it's going back to the prior penalty.
I'll hand it to Western Washington. Great defense, but we're piling up some penalties here, and you do expect at some point to see a yellow card or a penalty try.
We did have this. We do have a very large lighting post in front of us right where that all occurred. It did appear to be an intentional knock from my vantage point. There's no yellow, no penalty try. It's a penalty back to GCU.
Yeah, unfortunately, the light posts were here before the parking structure was. So
I do see the Western Washington coach all the way down on the GCU side conferring with the AR and the referee.
Yeah, I saw.
Actually, I think I see two Western Washington.
I saw them both running down to have a word, which is highly. Looks like maybe there's an injury.
There's a player down.
Yeah, that's right.
I think there's a player down. Yes, tended to by Kiana Peck, GCU athletic trainer and team. Fadi and Ashley do a fantastic job for us. A lot going on that play, Ryan.
Yeah, that was quite a sequence, and maybe two or three times it looked like GCU was across the line, but couldn't dot it down. The clock says we have about 20 minutes left in the half. It seems like more time is gone than that.
Yep, GCU 26, Western Washington 22. GCU knocking at the door.
They really, really need to push it across for a try here after this long of a sequence. Coming up empty-handed.
Okay, so GCU put in by Vance Disney. We do have Ben Saunders and Jackson Gray stacked behind, as well as Aiden Cassanon stacked behind the GCU scrum. Nice push by GCU. That ball came out of there funny, almost as if it was kicked through, Ryan.
It definitely was kicked through. The only question is who took it in, I think. Probably.
Okay, so GCU is indicating that it's going to be their scrum. We will see here.
Yeah, GCU is getting just, unfortunately, a little bit too much turn to the left here. Too much wheel to the left. They need to keep it straight. I feel like if they could keep it straight, they could push this across. You know, they might surprise Western Washington and just pick it up pretty quickly and try and attack off it, too.
Okay, so GCU put in. Vance Disney out of Coweta, Oklahoma with the put in. True freshman.
Yep, and they go for the quick.
Out to Jackson Gray on the crash. Jackson takes it up. Support is there. To number 4, Sean McElligott. Good support by GCU.
Looked like a shoulder banger there. It looked like.
Out to Ben Saunders. Ben Saunders looks like he's across the line or right on the line. We're knocking at the door. Knocking at the door.
That's got to be a try.
Nigel Johnson in for the try. A lot of hands touched that ball.
Boy, Western Washington made him work there for sure. That was some defense.
Well done by Nigel Johnson from Gilbert, Arizona. I'd like to say hello to his grandmother from San Diego area if she's watching. Got a chance to meet her at the West Coast Sevens.
Yeah, that was very fortunate by GCU to get some points out of that. Good defense by Western Washington. I think it's just too long defending down there. You know, it's too much when it's about 5 or 10 minutes of defense work.
Yeah.
Good tackling though.
Grandma should be very proud of Nigel in his efforts on the pitch today.
It's an important conversion here because it puts it outside of the 10 points.
Ben Saunders approaches it.
Nope.
Oh, off the right upright. So we stay within, 9-point difference, Ryan?
Yeah.
So a try and a penalty difference. 2 possessions nonetheless.
Both teams clanking one off the post today.
I was once told by a wise man that usually there's a score within 75% chance of a score within 2 minutes from a score.
Which team? Predicting anything?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Well, we'll have
Usually
to see.
one team becomes a little laxed or has their head down. Back to Ben Saunders, a touch. Stays in. Goes backwards. Western Washington works it across the field. Little chip ahead. It's like DJ Wisnant out of Virginia. Little fancy footwork. Allows time for support to get there. To Danny Callahan. Back to, looked like a flat pass from up here. Ref calls it forward. It'll be a scrum to Western Washington.
Yeah, that was close.
Yep.
He was just a little, he was a little flat, which made it seem like a forward pass for sure.
Seems more often than not the referees do allow the flat pass these days, both in international and college rugby, but the referee saw that one differently. It'll be a scrum to Western Washington inside GCU territory. Kind of isolating George Pritchard. They've got a fly half and the wing stacked directly behind the line out.
And I think Sam Schuver at the top there for Western Washington, he's really been done the damage today so far. It's back out the channel there. Looked like GCU might be able to take that, but
we're approaching the 15 minutes left in the first half. Resetting the Western Washington scrum inside GCU territory. Looks like Western Washington has made some subs. I don't know if the numbers align with our roster, so we'll just refer to them as the numbers they're wearing.
It looks like
again, Western Washington set up, isolating the center, George Pritchard.
Back out the channel.
Known to have an active foot.
So
maybe eyeing some chip space behind the GCU defensive line.
Tiring sequence here. You've had 2 scrums in a row where the hook wasn't super clean, and so it's come back out the channel, which results in another scrum. Unfortunate.
GCU has got to be wary of a chip ahead, Ryan.
That one they got cleanly. Yeah. Oh.
Yep. Mishandled but collected by Western Washington. Work it back left. Good defensive structure by GCU.
Seatbelt
going to call a high tackle against GCU. So 31-22 is going to post to try to
close this.
Put it at the 7 point diff. Put it at a 7 point difference.
6.
Currently 9.
Yeah, this would take him within 6.
Correct.
So we're talking about the importance of that conversion that unfortunately banged off the post for GCU. Who is kicking? It doesn't.
It's George Pritchard. He's been wearing 17 all day, unless that's a 12. I think it's a 17 on the back of his jersey. Ball is up.
It's good. Ooh.
Just struck. Had the height. Wide right. So it'll be a 22-meter dropout to GCU.
That looked like it might leak in, and it just kept its line that time instead of pulling around. So GCU very fortunate there, avoids this closing into within the 7 point gap. So we get a 22.
Just inside 13 minutes of the match left. 22-meter drop goes directly back to Western Washington. George Pritchard takes it up. Western Washington off the ruck to a pot of forwards. Another clean ruck by Western Washington.
Oh,
GCU leaves a wing open again. Western Washington has had success against the outside wing defense, lacking for GCU today.
Just talking about Sam Schuver doing some damage, and there he did it again with some good pace. Took it right down the field.
So that'll make it 31-27 before the conversion.
GCU playing with a little bit of fire here. Just
tough conversion kick from the far side. Very tough angle, especially for a right-footed kicker. Marcus Terzoli tries to apply some pressure on the kicker. Does fall short. Score remains 31. GCU 27. Western Washington.
Yeah, and I think Sam Schuver, the wing that's done some damage, I think he actually is a freshman this year. But he's looked pretty good out there for sure.
Ben Saunders with the restart drop kick. A little bit deeper than normal. Ball is chipped ahead. Vance Dizzy's under it, collects the ball.
Well taken by Vance.
Great ruck by number 15. I believe that's Ben Saunders on the, not sure who's there on the ruck. Ben's out in the back line. To Dane Needham, Yakima, Washington product. Western Washington coaches spoke highly of Dane for the match.
Good choice by Ben there.
Ben Saunders finds a gap, dips his head, he's through. Calling a penalty on against, obstruction against GCU.
He kind of ran in. It was kind of a strange play. He ran in behind his own player there.
I think you're right, Ryan.
And then we get, looks like maybe some talk with the ref there, so they got 10 more meters out of it.
Referee walked it up another 10 meters, pairs.
That one, let it go out.
DJ's going to let that ball go dead.
That was just was that on the, that was on the penalty, right? Yeah. That's one of the worst things that you can do off a penalty there. Yeah.
GCU will opt for
Take
a
the scrum. So they took the scrum up here, which is probably, we talked about, might not be a bad strategy, you know, with the trouble they've had with the line out. So,
yeah, slight advantage to GCU on the scrums today. Maybe more than slight.
Good stability there.
Okay, Vance Disney out to Ben Saunders.
There's the chip.
Little
finally.
chip ahead.
Too deep.
Western Washington player up.
Oh boy,
little chip
nobody
back. Nobody's home.
Oh boy.
We've got a chaser and a long striding Aiden Castanon. Mishandles the ball, cleaned up by Lachlan Jackson. It's on the ground.
Oh boy. She's going for the pocket.
So it'll be a yellow card against GCU, I believe. That's number 5, Lachlan Jackson.
So now GCU's got a tall order here. There's only a few minutes. There's about 8 minutes left in the match, but now they're down a man for the remainder. Oh, beautifully put out.
Again, that corner's left wide open. Another try for number 11. Sam Schuver. Might be his 3rd or 4th on the day.
I think it's 4th.
GCU has got to find a solution for that wide, for defense on the wide side.
Yeah, so GCU's got a tall order here because they're down a man for the remainder.
Down a man and down a point right now.
Yeah.
32-31 in favor of Western Washington. George Pritchard for the conversion.
Tough angle here. Well, GCU's got the horses to do it. They've scored a few times today with the inside running and might go back to that a little here.
Ball is up. It's long enough, and it's good.
Boy, great kick.
So 34-31 in favor of Western Washington. 6 minutes, 40 seconds left on the scoreboard. GCU drop kick restart to Western Washington.
Yeah, the restarts have been good for GCU, so we'll see what happens here. Maybe they can get a tip once again from Aiden. A little too deep.
Ball is up. GCU had defenders on them. They just slowed down.
Good chop tackle there. Oh, they had numbers.
Got numbers. They've got defenders.
Same player, Sam.
Fancy footwork.
Sam Schuver doing some damage.
Yep. Gets out of a mess there. Clean ball out left here towards the press box. have a kind of a dummy runner who stopped. Ben Pritchard from the centers tries to shoot the gap.
GCU just needs to.
Western Washington maintains possession. Yeah. They are in front of their 22.
Wow.
But penalty to GCU.
Kind of surprised they kicked for touch, or kicked for, I guess, trying to kick for touch there.
Yeah, and I don't know if it would have found touch.
I didn't see what the penalty was. Did you see?
I did not see the penalty either.
Might get a post kick here. Nah, probably not.
GCU opts to kick the touch, improves the territory.
It's a 5 meter.
It'll be a 5 meter line out to GCU.
They really have to secure this.
Western Washington with a 3-point lead. GCU with a line out. 4 minutes left in the match.
Yeah,
if GCU is successful here with the line out, Ryan, it's maul time. Is this a full line out?
No,
well, almost.
5, yeah.
5-man line out. They go long to Zach Cranford. Go wide to DJ Wisnant. Out to Lewis Case. Lewis has some speed. Can he get through? He does. Try time, Lewis Case. Lewis Case has that burner speed on the outside, Ryan.
You could see it right there, yep.
Out of Oceanside, California. Hi to his parents.
Turned on the Jets.
They were here last weekend along with a slew of parents for the UCLA match. We have an unbelievable supportive group of parents for GCU Rugby. We thank them all for allowing their sons to play rugby for us and all the financial help they give us over, whether it's a lunch, dinner, or just a little financial donation always helps.
You really could see. Just turn on the Jets there. It's good to see that. You and I used to turn on the props, I think, not the Jets, but they he had it and he turned it on, run around the corner and pin the ears back. Pretty clear.
3 minutes left in the match. Ben Saunders for the conversion. 36-34 lead currently. Ball is up. It is going to be short. So with just under 3 minutes left, 2-point advantage to GCU. And Western Washington will have a drop kick restart. Back to GCU.
So 14.
Nice work there by DJ Wisnant. Came in for fullback. Setting up Lewis Case for the try in the corner.
Yeah, 14-man try. Not an easy task. Nice kickoff
High
once
kick
again.
Deep. Jackson Gray calling for it. Jackson's going to find space. Picks up a meter or two. Good support. Nigel Johnson out to Aiden Cassanon. Back this way to Ben Saunders. Big chip ahead. There is some space out here. So it's a penalty to GCU. So kind of takes a little time off the clock. Allows time for GCU to reset. We're inside 2 minutes. Called a minute 53 on the clock right now, or at least on the scoreboard. Ball's in Ben Saunders' hands. Does not find touch, but it should be a knock-on. So it'll be a scrum to GCU.
Well, he tried everything not to knock that on. Unfortunate for Western Washington there.
Yep. Fortunate for GCU. It would have given at least Western Washington another crack at it. Will be a scrum to Grand Canyon in Western Washington territory.
Almost feels like GCU could run some possession here.
Run some possession and run the time off.
Yeah.
So minute 14, minute 13, minute 12, minute 11. Again, folks, this is off the scoreboard, not the ref's clock. 36 GCU, 34 Western Washington, and a hard-fought back-and-forth match.
Yeah, GCU just needs to avoid the turnover here.
Yep. Ball squirts out of the back. Clean ball from Vance Disney to Ben Saunders with Marcus Terzoli. Little crash ball.
Let's run some tanks here.
Marcus out of San Diego, California. Sean McElligott, a Northern California product, takes it up. Again, clean ball to the forwards. Nigel Johnson. GCU continues to maintain possession. We just breached the 1 minute mark. We're now into the seconds. Looks like it's going to be a penalty against Western Washington to GCU. Ref is playing advantage. GCU would be wise to take some time off the clock here. That's big Zach Cranford on the tips ball from Sean McElligott.
Good possession by GCU. They got numbers.
Kenny Passion to Marcus Terzoli. Marcus Terzoli in for the try.
Boy, well done by GCU. That's some of the best rugby we've seen from GCU today.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that'll go 41-34 before the conversion. That's 7 points, folks. And I believe time is probably going to be up.
Well, I'll tell you, what GCU really needed was just to play a man short. They've scored 2 tries since getting the yellow card. So
probably not the recipe for future
no,
success.
probably not, but well done today. Not a strategy that you frequently see. Still a big
Ball
kick
is up.
here.
Might have enough.
Well,
just wide right.
That's
and that is the match, folks. 41 points to GCU, 34 to Western Washington. Hey, hats off to Western Washington for D1 AA team against a D1A team.
Yeah, very, very hard play. Some great physical play and a lot of Sam Schuver on the wing.
Yep. So congratulations to Coach O'Leary and the GCU squad for a nice home win. For Ryan Kelly, myself, Brent Weber, we're signing off from GCU Field. We'll see you next time against, I believe, Canadian team comes down. Next up for GCU will be a trip to Cal Berkeley. Tall task, I might add. So signing off.